Hello friends, you're the Lonesome Gamer, and once again I'm playing Talisman, the magical quest game, the 4th edition of Fantasy Flight Games. One of my favorite games. And the occasion is actually this small expansion here, called the Fireland expansion. I received this lately, and yeah, as I said, it seemed to me to be an appropriate occasion to do another video about this game. I'm not sure though if we will see anything at all of this expansion, because there are tons of cards that are now included in the game with all the other expansions. So yeah, but we'll see about that. We have about, I don't know, it's the usual stuff. I don't know how many cards are there. Here we go. 19 spell cards, then a few terrain cards. That's the new type of cards. A few new endings, 4 new characters, 34 Fireland tokens. Here we go, and 81 new adventure cards. So, with a little bit of luck, we're gonna see some of them. Okay, yeah, let's set up the game, and that will take a while for me. Okay, so I think the game is more or less set, but there will appear more board expansions pretty soon, I guess. So I think in the end we will have to move with our characters onto that table here, so that we have more room on this table here. But for now it's fine. We can arrange everything like this. Okay, so I'm gonna play this in this multiplayer solitaire way. This is one of the few games where I really enjoy that. I did this in my earlier playthroughs too. And if you don't know the game at all, just please watch my other playthroughs of Talisman. I did one of the 2nd edition actually, where I went through the rules in detail, and I did also one of the 4th edition already. But I think there I just explained the rules that changed, which were not too many. Okay, so and now I actually proudly present my first self-painted miniatures. I didn't do that until now, but I started with painting some Talisman miniatures. And here we got the dwarf, and well, I really okay, here we go. I really think he looks pretty cool, and I'm really proud about this guy. So, and he starts in, let me see, in the cracks, which are where are these cracks? Are they already in the middle? No, that's the chasm. Yeah, here, exactly. Okay. And let's see the special abilities. You need not to roll the die in the cracks or the chasm unless you wish to. If you choose to roll, you must accept the result. You may evade creatures and characters in the hills. So that's pretty interesting. You need only roll 1 die if you attempt to open the portal of power by craft. You need only roll 2 dice in the mines. You are unaffected by the maze. So these are definitely very strong abilities, especially the one here in the mines. That's definitely amazing. What's the maze, by the way? Not sure. I guess we'll see if it happens. Huh. Okay, we got the sorceress here, and it's this miniature here. and she starts at the graveyard over here. You begin the game with one spell. Okay, let's see. Here are the spells. Mesmerism. Cast at the start of your turn. Before you move, take one follower of your choice from any character. Before you move, take one. Okay. That's not bad, but for now it's not that interesting. When you attack another character, you may choose to make the attack psychic combat. You may not do this when you are attacked by another character. You may attempt to beguile, not sure what that means, a character that you land on, allowing you to take one gold or object of your choice. I will check what that means. Okay, so it's spelled beguile. To do so, roll one die. You must roll a 6 to beguile a good character, 5 or 6 for a neutral character, or 4, 5 or 6 for an evil character. For neutral character, 4, 5 or 6 evil. Yeah, and this guy is actually neutral, and the Valkyrie is good. So it's not going to be that easy for her. You may take any one follower except the maiden, unicorn, or princess from a character that you land on. And then we got here the Valkyrie. This one here. And she starts at the ruins. They are here. You may add 1 to your attack score during battle. You may visit the graveyard as if you were of evil alignment. Whenever the follower is killed, you may resurrect it and keep it as your follower, instead of allowing it to be placed on the discard pile. You may only resurrect each follower once per turn. Okay. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. And we play with this day and night card here. And in addition, I already explained that in my earlier playthroughs. Concerning the expansions, I use some house rules. I want to avoid that the players just play on the expansions. I want to, well, to make them special somehow. So you cannot enter the expansions the usual way. You only can do this by these special cards. For example, you can only enter the dungeon through the dungeon entrances or so on. So only if a card tells you you're allowed to enter an expansion, then you can do that. There is no other way except these rune gates. If you go through a rune gate, then you have to roll then you have to determine randomly on which board you will end up. And if you draw the rune gate on an expansion board, then you can move back onto the main board through the rune gate or to any other rune gate on the board. There's a little special rule here with the city. If you enter the city space, you roll a die, an 8-sided die, and on a 7 or 8, the city will actually open its gates. So the expansion board of the city is placed here, and that one is now open for everyone. Every player can now enter the city if he wishes to. Okay, so let's see, I think I'm ready to start. It's quite a while that I played that the last time. So let's do some rounds. The dwarf will go first. And might be a good idea to go to the hills, because there we can evade creatures. That's the city. It's also an option. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sentinel. City might be an interesting start. Simply because we have 5 fate. So if we're doing bad here at the sorceress or enchantress, we have a chance to roll again. So I think that might be an interesting option. So we move here, and now first of all we have to roll if the city opens. Okay, so on a 7 or 8 it will be the case, and no, that's a 4. But of course we can visit the standard shops. So we go to the enchantress and roll a 6-sided die. And that's a 5. That looks good. Gain 1 strength. Pretty awesome. Very good start for the dwarf. And the sorceress. Well, that's a 1. So, well, I don't know. I think she will simply move here to the fields and draw on adventure cards. And here are our adventure cards. Only a little part of the tons of cards that we have, but that should be enough for this game. Okay, this is an enchanted map. Instead of rolling for movement on your turn, you may teleport to another space with the same name as your current space. It's an interesting object. I never had that before. Well, okay. For some characters, this can be really, really strong. There are these characters, for example, that are allowed to draw 2 cards on some special spaces, like the elf in the woods, I think, or I'm not absolutely sure, but or the Highlander on the hills, I guess. So if these guys have this enchanted map, that is really awesome. Okay, then it's the Valkyrie, and that's a 6. So she could now visit the graveyard, and she would then be evil. So that means she could replenish fate, or she could roll. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I think she will actually go to the graveyard. Simply roll a die here. And that's a 5, which is not bad. Gain 1 fate. Very good. Okay. Nice. It's the dwarf again. A 2. And he moves to the hills. And I wasn't sure exactly. If you draw an event card, this thing is flipped to night and then again to day. I wasn't sure when it happened, but yeah, it was. Now I know it's. I remember now it was when you draw an event card. Okay, and this is another magic object. The Firelands Scourge. So this is one of these new cards. A favorite of Ifrit Slayers. These Ifrit, as far as I understand it, these were some old people that basically made this crown of command. Slavers. Okay, when you defeat a character in battle or psychic combat and choose to take a life, that character must also burn one of his followers. Okay, so if you burn a follower, that means, it's a new rule, it means it has to be removed from the game. It's gone more or less completely. I don't know if there are cards which allow you to bring back burned cards, but as far as I think, her ability, for example, doesn't work against this, because this is only to prevent followers to go to the discard pile. No, it was her. Yeah, it was exactly. Yeah, it was her ability, the Valkyrie. She can resurrect followers, but that doesn't work against this Firelands Scourge. Okay. And the Sorceress. That's a 5. The Ruins, why not? Pretty good. She's allowed to draw 2 cards there. Okay, so we have an event here. So first we have to flip this. And that is a werewolf. One of your followers is a werewolf. Roll 1 die for each follower. Well, she doesn't have one. Okay, so I guess there's no effect then. And then she meets this leper. Characters that land on the leper or are on a space to which the leper is moved must roll 1 die. On a roll of 1 or 2 they must lose either a follower or 1 life. The leper then shambles on. Roll 1 die and move him that many spaces clockwise. Okay, so first she will lose a life because she doesn't have a follower. And then this guy moves 4 spaces clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he ends up here in the village. And it's the Valkyrie again. A 2. Could be the woods or the city. But she also has a lot of fate. So, oh no, wait a second. The Valkyrie is back here. So here the village, which is probably not the best idea now with the leper. Or here the sentinel. I guess she moves here and draws a card. Okay. And that is a morning song. And that's a lunar event. It says when revealed, flip the time card today. So it's flipped again. Okay. Whenever a character has just completed his move, he may discard any adventure cards of his choice on his space. Discard this card when night falls. So I guess now I could enter this card, the village. I could enter the village now and then discard this leper here. Okay. And the dwarf again. That's a 6. So now he would have the opportunity to attack the sorceress. And he's definitely stronger, and it would be pretty cool for him to take the enchanted map. So yeah, I guess he might do that. Yeah. So he moves here, and he then attacks the sorceress. Just wonder, no, there's nothing she can do. His spell doesn't also give her some extra powers here. So the dwarf rolls first, and that's a 6, so the sorceress doesn't even need to roll. She will lose that fight, and the dwarf takes the enchanted map. And that is pretty cool now for him, because he's pretty good in the hills. Can evade characters and creatures there. So that might give him an advantage. And then it's the sorceress again. And, well, that's a 2. So she could move in the forest, which is probably not the best idea, or to the tavern, and she will end up there. And then she rolls a die. Ah, that's a 1. Get drunk and collapse in a corner. Miss 1 turn. Okay. It's the Valkyrie again, over there. A 5. Let's see. The plains or the fields? I guess we go to the plains. 5. And draw another card. Harvest Horror. Craft 1. Shouldn't be too bad. A minion of the Pumpkin King has claimed this area for its master. It will remain here until it is killed. Okay. So, yeah, let's do the attack. She has a craft of 4. So, yeah, okay, no problem here. 6. That thing is killed, and we can keep that as a trophy. For what it's worth. And the dwarf again. A 4. 1, 2, 3 are the woods. And this leper. Well, maybe that's not such a bad idea. It might be a good opportunity to get rid of this guy. And then he could... Yeah, he could then visit the mystic, for example. It's an option. Or moving to the woods. I don't know. Hard to tell. Maybe I guess moving to the woods might be better. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So he draws a card. And another magic object. The Staff of Balance. No good or evil character may have the Staff of Balance. Add 1 to your strength and 1 to your craft. Now that's pretty awesome because I'm neutral. So that's the perfect object for me. The only problem is I already have now 3 objects. My limit are 4. So, but it's okay. The sorceress is not allowed to move, so we simply stand her up, and then it's the Valkyrie again. And a 5. The hills or the sentinel. Well, maybe it's not such a bad idea to stay away from the dwarf. He's pretty strong, so she moves to the sentinel. Draws another card, and we got, okay, a burrow worm. So that guy comes with a strength of 4. A gruesome burrow worm erupts in this area. If you are defeated, in addition to losing 1 life, you fall into its burrow and land on the dungeon entrance. It will remain here until it is killed. Okay. So let's see. She's got a strength of 3, which is not so great. She can add 1. And, well, I guess she will. She's not that strong, so maybe it's not the best idea to enter the dungeon right now. It's hard to say, though. I mean, she's not that bad either, so... I don't know, I think we just see what happens. I don't want to lose that life point. So I attack. Well, that might be enough. It's a 9, and this Burrow Worm has a 2. So pretty cool. Gives me another trophy. And that's not a bad one. So I guess we do one last round. The dwarf starts again. And that is a 4. That would bring him again into the city. The other option would be the ruins. So that's a tough decision now, because well, in the city it's always this gambling. He could go to the Enchantress, which is definitely not bad. But the ruins are also good. He can draw 2 cards there. Hard to say, actually. Hard to say. Okay, I think I think I prefer to draw the 2 cards. So I move to the ruins, and that gives me then 2 cards. Okay. So first we got an event which flips this to the night, and then the morning song actually goes away. And we got these dark denizens here. For 2 rounds following this turn, whenever a character is instructed to draw adventure cards, he must draw dungeon cards instead. The dark denizens then retreat to the discard pile. Okay, so that means we have to shuffle the dungeons cards now, but okay. And then he's found a follower, the riding horse. Riding horse. You may roll 2 dice and add them together to determine how far you move. Ah, damn it. Okay. Well, that can be useful, but for some reason I'm not the big fan of that follower. But okay, I mean, there is no limit to the number of followers you can have, so it's fine. Okay, so I shuffled now these dungeon cards, and then it's the sorceress, and oh, where is she, by the way? Ah, here in the tavern, exactly. Okay, so that's a 1, which is not exactly great. Fields or plains, doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, she moves to the plains, and she draws a dungeon card now. And that's a battle Hulk. Okay, that's definitely a little different than the normal stuff you get. Okay, strength 10. You may evade the battle Hulk instead of attacking it. It will remain here until it is killed. Well, I think it's the best idea to do that. So yeah, she will evade here. And it stays on the board. And then it's the Valkyrie. And that is a 5. So that would be the fields over here. Or the woods here. So I guess she moves into the woods. And also draws the dungeon card. And that's a faithful hound, a follower. The hound may fight in your place with a strength of 3. If the hound wins, the creature is killed or the opposing character must lose 1 life. If the hound loses, it is killed and your turn immediately ends. Enemies killed may be taken as trophies. So this is a pretty perfect follower for her, because that allows her now to send the hound basically into every combat against a very strong character, and if that guy is killed, she can simply resurrect him. So that's awesome. This is exactly what she needed. Okay, so I find it hard to finish here. This is a game I could simply go on all through the night, but Yeah, I think it's time to load this up. For now, not too much has happened, although this is definitely an interesting follower for her. She also has a nice trophy. And the dwarf is doing good. He had this extra strength from the enchantress in the city. 3 magic objects. They're both pretty good. Or they're all pretty good. So the dwarf is doing good. The sorceress, well, she wasn't that successful until now. But we just started, so it's all open, especially in that game. Hope to see you in my next video. Until then, bye.